Welcome back to another episode of the Sundae Scoop. My name is Dan Gonzalez and I'm head of product at Sundae Labs. We have a bunch of exciting updates to share with you all this month, from work that we've done over the past month to our upcoming Catalyst proposal project work. We'll be hearing from a bunch of our team members, from Pi, from Calvin, from Andy, about all of those efforts. So without further ado, let's get started. Pi is going to share some work that we've done recently with the JPG Store and some of the work that we have in progress with them. Pi, over to you.
Thanks, Dan. Over the last several months, we've been building a great relationship with another project in the space. JPG Store and the JPG Foundation run the largest NFT marketplace on Cardano, and they reached out to us to do an audit of their new smart contracts. We've never done an audit before, but we obviously have a lot of experience building and launching secure and reliable smart contracts on Cardano. And so we thought this was a great opportunity for us to break into the audit market. Over the course of several weeks, we were able to identify several issues and work with the team to implement fixes for those issues. Their new contracts bring incredible performance improvements, and we're really excited to see those go live with the increased confidence that this audit provides. After that, we started talking about their new JPG token and how they planned to distribute it. Originally, they were going to build their own distribution platform, but seeing as how we have an existing token distribution platform that's already powering the likes of Indigo, Liquid, and Snake, we thought it was a great fit for their needs. So we've been partnering with them, and we will be handling the distribution of the JPG tokens that have been earned through Season 1 and future seasons.
Thanks, Pi. Exciting stuff. Up next, we have Calvin, who's going to be overviewing some of the changes coming to our DEX, if you haven't seen them already, but this is really just encapsulating some of the work that we've been doing over the last month. Calvin, over to you.
All right, welcome everyone. This is Calvin from Sundae Swap, one of the lead engineers over here. Just doing a quick demo on the new navigation for the DEX. Also just demonstrating some major rewrites on just how we handle orders, and then kind of demoing this new dashboard layout as well. So first off, the first thing you'll notice when you come to the Sundae app is you'll notice that the layout has changed. One, it's using the full screen width, so we get a lot more real estate here with our chart and with our portfolio breakdown. You'll also see just a nice little good morning thing here right near. I don't have an ADA handle, which is kind of ironic, but I don't have one in this wallet. But normally if you have an ADA handle, it will say good morning and then your handle name. And usually that can be set over here when you set your handle. Another thing that I wanted to demonstrate was this little section right here. So originally we had all this information over here next to this, and it was getting really crowded over here. So we moved all this information up here so you can kind of see your portfolio snapshot just at a glance. You can see right here we have our portfolio balance, which is actually a little bit different than the available balance. And the reason being is that this also includes all of our assets down here and any other assets that we might have. So this is our total portfolio balance, which includes all of our assets and our ADA. And then this is our available assets of our total balance, which is over here. So this is including like our yield farming and stuff as well. And then this is just including our assets in our wallet. Right here, this is our liquidity provided. So this is all, if we come down here to liquidity provided, I have a couple of positions right here. So this is adding in the value in ADA for both those different positions. This is the total amount of fees that I've earned, and then this is the total amount of earnings I received from locking up yield farmings, which we can see over here. Another thing that you'll also notice is this brand new chart, which shows just our earnings for liquidity that's been locked over time. So we can have logarithmic, we can have linear, and then we can sort by weeks, months, so we can see kind of a lot more trajectory of just how our position has performed over time. The next thing I want to demonstrate is you'll notice a lot of these trade options down here, they just pop open a quick modal, which makes it really easy. You can type in the amount that you want, switch it back and forth, choose your pool and automatically update, switch it to a limit order. So all this stuff is actually the same, but it's a lot more snappy and a lot more deterministic in terms of how we calculate those swap outcomes, so they're a lot more accurate. If we go to the exchange, this is normal. Let's just pick one like Sundae. So this is the exchange page now. This is very much similar to the way it always has been. The main difference being our swap outcomes are more accurate. They're a lot more responsive, similar to the modal that I just showed you before. We can switch this stuff around. We can switch to a sell or a buy view, and those all work really well. A cool thing that we added was we also, underneath the chart for this, we also added just kind of a pool, our most popular pools, and you can load more on this table. They'll show you the HRA for that pool, the current price, the change in the last 24 hours. And then this is a little bit different where if we were to just hit trade, it just switches the pool on the actual page and automatically updates all this information. So we hope that makes that a lot more easy to navigate and a lot more clear. If we go to the liquidity page, you can see this pretty much looks exactly the same as it always has, with the exception of the calls to action over here. So our first one is zapping. So we just make that really easy, where if you wanted to zap to a pool, you can put in your ADA and it will do all those calculations for you. And so that's just our default action, which might change in the future based on usage. And then you can also see we have our actions, and this kind of is like relevant actions for the pool. So I don't have any liquidity or assets for the ADA C3 pool. So the only thing I can do here is trade, which takes me to the page and I can trade just like normal. This one is a little bit different. I have obviously liquidity added. I also have Sundae and ADA, so I could add liquidity, and then I can also view my positions. So if I were to remove liquidity, I can just do that here without going anywhere else. If I want to add liquidity, I can do the same without going anywhere else. If I wanted to trade, of course it would work like before. And then if I want to view the position, it just takes me back to the portfolio where I can actually view the position. And then last is orders. Nothing's changed over here, but you may notice some of the colors have been changed to be a little bit less abrasive, and also so that they match when we are looking at a pair. You can see that we're using green and for upward movement and red for downward movement to more adhere to industry standards. So I hope you've enjoyed this demo and you find navigating the website a lot more quick, a lot more reliable, and also just more fun.
Thanks, Calvin. Up next is Andy to overview some of the changes we're going to be making to our yield farming program on the Sundae DEX. Andy, over to you.
All right, thanks, Dan. So what I'm going to show you guys next is the design preview of our upcoming yield farming page. The goal of the page is to provide as much useful information around our yield farming programs as possible, such as the overall total value locked, the average TX volume, the daily usage, or the next reward cycle countdown. We also plan to render out the daily rewards leaderboard by program, your positions, and the latest activity. The latest activity will include all transactions related to one of our yield farming programs, and we will display them in real time. We also want to render out the top farms by community activity, such as the biggest delegation movers, the biggest HRI gainers, or the recently added programs. Down below, we will render out a list with all the existing pools in our protocol, whereas the ones that support yield farming will be rendered at the very top. And with the action buttons on the right, you can participate in yield farming right away. And that's pretty much it with the design preview of our new yield farming page. We're excited to get this out as soon as possible, so without any further ado, back to you, Dan.
Thanks, Andy. That's great. We're really looking forward to seeing how this yield farming landing page resonates with all of you in the community and building on the success of our yield farming program relaunch. Up next, we have Pi, who's going to share a little bit about our exciting new Aiken contract work. This is taking our smart contracts and upgrading them to the Aiken programming language and really gaining some surprising and really exciting performance benefits. So without spoiling anything further, Pi, over to you.
The catalyst proposal of ours that I'm perhaps most excited about is the Aiken smart contract rewrite. Aiken is a new programming language for Cardano, and several months ago we started an experimental exploration of what it would take to rewrite our smart contracts in Aiken. The dev tooling and performance improvements are hard to ignore, and progress on that is coming along very nicely. On screen, you can see a representation of what this performance improvement would bring. On the top is the orders that were placed when we launched Sundae Swap. If you were around in those days, you remember that chaos. And as each order gets filled, which our mainnet contracts can do 2 to 4 orders per batch, you can see them flash a color and disappear. On the bottom is all of that same data, but every time we have a scoop, instead of fulfilling the orders that were in the transaction, we fulfill 25 random orders instead. You can see that these new Aiken contracts, by being able to fit more orders per batch, can just rip through even intense load like our launch. We're really excited about this and are also including a number of important feature improvements. One example is now on the mainnet contracts, in order to mint or create a new pool, there is oftentimes contention over a shared factory UTXO. In the new contracts, we figured out a way to allow minting the pool independently so there is no contention between claiming scooper rewards and creating the pool.
Thanks, Pi. We're super excited to see how those contracts perform out in the real world once they get launched a little bit later next year. Up next, we have Andy, who's here to talk to us about our Taste Test Catalyst proposal. Taste Test is a price discovery platform that we're building for new token launches to help really redefine how token launches happen on the Cardano ecosystem. So, Andy, take it away.
All right, thanks, Dan. So let me give you guys a brief overview over what the potential taste test UI might look like in the future. What you can see on the screen right now is the taste test overview page, which intros with a little description on how you can participate in a taste test. It gives you a list of active and concluded taste tests, and it wraps up with the help center in case you need any further information. So let's say I want to participate in the Asbury taste test. I click on the Explore Taste Test button, which then takes me to the details page. The details page shows me the campaign status with the time left countdown, the amount raised, the potential price of the asset, and a little chart of the TVL over time. It also shows me all the relevant token details, further information about the team, and a little pie chart about the tokenomics. Now, if you want to participate in the taste test, you will have this little participation widget on the right-hand side where you can enter any amount of ADA that you want to supply. Now, let's say I want to supply 1, 2, 3 ADA. What we show in the future then will be the current rates, the price impact, the TVL, the estimated share of the pool, and also the estimated worth of both assets. Now, whenever you click on the Provide button, you will be able to submit and sign your transaction. And once the transaction has been successfully submitted, you will have successfully participated in the taste test as well. So that's it from my side. Back to you, Dan.
Thanks, Andy. We're really looking forward to seeing how token launches can be reinvented on the Sundae Swap platform and how we can revitalize that aspect of the Cardano ecosystem. Finally, in our final update for this month, we have Pi, who's going to share a little bit about our Gummiworm project work related to 2 of the Hydra proposals that we have in this round of Catalyst funding. Pi, over to you.
Finally today, I want to talk to you a little bit about Gummiworm. As many of you know, Gummiworm is a layer 2 protocol built on top of Hydra that we've been designing since last year and working on for the last several months. We've got 2 Catalyst proposals related to our work on Gummiworm that we can contribute back to the Hydra ecosystem. So if you haven't yet already, we encourage you to go consider voting for those. Today, I wanted to give you a small demo of one component that we've been working on for the last few weeks. The main idea behind Gummiworm is that we want to separate custody of user funds from the execution and validation of transactions. So we want to keep the fast finality and fast execution of those transactions, while not requiring that you trust a very small cabal of people with custody of your funds. We have a long road ahead of us to get there, but we've been working hard on the walking skeleton, the thing that tells the story of the protocol. Today, in this demo that you can see now on screen, we're showing a small portion of that. In particular, how do we validate these transactions once they've been produced by a Gummiworm operator? On the right, you can see a version of the Hydra node that's running in ledger-only mode. This is related to one of our Catalyst proposals. And it really can just receive transactions and indicate whether they are valid or invalid. On the left, you can see we're starting up a small program that just reads some transactions off the Cardano mainnet and submits them to this local node. You'll see that these random transactions off of mainnet are marked as invalid by this local ledger node because we just started from a random spot on mainnet, and it doesn't have all the UTXOs and relevant kind of pre-history. If instead we started from a fresh, clean slate and submitted valid transactions, this fork of the Hydra node would return successful and that these nodes have been validated. Obviously, this is just a very small piece, and there's a whole tapestry of features to weave together to produce a secure and reliable layer 2. But hopefully, each one of these update videos, we can give you a small glimpse into the protocol that we're building. And as we get closer to release, our plan is to release a whole white paper explaining in detail how the protocol works, and we plan to open source all of the major core components. We hope that this was illustrative and kind of a unique glimpse behind the curtain that we don't do very often, so we hope you enjoyed it. And with that, I hand back to Dan.
Thanks, Pi. So as you can see, the Gummiworm work is a critical part of 2 of our Hydra proposals that we have in this round of Catalyst funding. In addition to those, as Andy mentioned, we also have our taste test product, right, which is our price discovery concept that we have a proposal for, in addition to the Aiken work and the smart contract audit work, and finally our Sorbet wallet debugger. So go and look for those proposals. We'd really appreciate your vote. Voting is live. So as always, thank you guys for watching. We will see you next month and hopefully be able to provide some more exciting updates in the world of Sundae. Thanks.